Imagine waking up one day and all of a sudden you have millions of views, hundreds of people booking into your calendar, and tens of thousands of dollars added to your monthly recurring revenue. Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to actually make this happen in reality. And as you can see from the screenshots above, I've done this over and over again. There's tons more screenshots I could show you, but I'll just take our most recent client, for example, where after 4 weeks, we generated 3 million impressions, booked over 200 meetings, and added over $60,000 a month. Now, this is using the exact LinkedIn content strategy that I'll be revealing in this video. First, we need to understand why LinkedIn. There's a few core reasons. Reason number one is that your ICP already spends time on LinkedIn. They're not on TikTok, they're not on Instagram. If you're selling to a business, they're going to be on LinkedIn. It simply makes the most sense to just put out content on the platform because we know it's going to end up in front of the people who we want to see it. Reason number two is people come to the platform specifically and actively looking for solutions. Essentially, when you're on LinkedIn, you're in this business mode, you're in this buying mindset where you're looking for solutions. You come with a problem. You either want to learn how to solve it or you want to find someone to solve it for you. Reason number three is that it's a very easy algorithm to crack if you post good content. Essentially, the bar for LinkedIn content is pretty low. Because it's all these corporate people, they might have really good business experiences. They might have really good lessons and tons of value to share, but they're not good at writing it in a way where it's going to go viral and get a lot of engagement and get the eyes of the people who they want to see it. And the final reason, and maybe the best reason, is that inbound leads come ready to buy. When someone's seen your content, they know you, they like you, they trust you, they come to the calls essentially with their credit card out. They just need to ask a few questions and then they're ready to buy. Most of my calls are super easy to close. They just hop on the first call with me and we collect the payment there. It ends up being a super smooth and easy process. There tends to not really be a need to do much objection handling, if any at all. This means that essentially anyone with a half-decent B2B offer is just one LinkedIn post away from a full pipeline. You literally just need that one post to do well, and you can be booked out for months in advance. Now, let's actually get into the content strategy. So phase one is your account. The biggest mistake I see is people using their company profile. We do not want to be using your company profile. There's a few reasons for this, but look at what you should use instead. You should use the personal profile. So first of all, you actually have a headshot of your face. People want to know who they're buying from. This is just going to build more trust and build a more personal connection. Second of all, you can have this clear headline where you can really talk about the pain points, the problems that you're solving, and the outcome you're helping people achieve. And then third, we have a nice clean banner, which kind of reflects all of that. And it's just that people nowadays prefer to buy from actual people rather than just some random logo that they've never seen before. Now, there's actually a few more reasons, and it's that generally personal profiles do just get more priority in the LinkedIn algorithm. So your posts will literally just get more reach. Because of the reasons I mentioned before, you will build more trust, and overall, this is going to lead to just more conversions. Now, phase two is the post types. This is very, very important. So what not to post? Number one, motivational quotes. Do not post these. I see this time and time again where people just find a quote on ChatGPT and they just post on LinkedIn with a nice little graphic and they think it's going to do well. Maybe Alex Hormozi can get away with that, but that's because he's already built his brand. And Alex Hormozi also balances it out with tons of other content giving tons of value. So he can easily get away with this. And to be honest with you, these posts tend to get tons of views, tons of likes, but they never bring any leads at all. Number two is do not post copy and pasted GPT output. I'm all for using AI to draft it. We also use AI to help us in the content creation process, but do not copy and paste GPT output. It's just so obvious AI. I see too many people doing this. Same thing if you're trying to comment with AI, everyone can tell it's AI. Okay, so if you're going to use AI, use it in a way where it's just a small part of the process and it's human assisted and you're finalizing everything, you're reviewing everything. Number three is random life updates. If you just got married or if you just went on holiday, nobody really cares. It's not really relevant. Now, I'll show you the one time that this type of stuff might be relevant in a second. But in general, if it's not relevant, your ICP doesn't care, you're just confusing them. You're just giving unnecessary information. Number four is engagement bait polls. I still see some people do this, and in 2025, it's kind of funny, but like polls just do not work. You don't do anything. You don't build any trust. It's just completely pointless. If you actually want to get feedback on something, okay, then I see it. There might be a reason for it. But if you're literally trying to grow by posting polls, like, you need to take a serious look at yourself in the mirror. Number 5 is generic advice. Now, this is kind of similar to the GPT output, but essentially, like, people just giving the most generic lessons, the most generic value. Like, you are not going to get anywhere. You're doing what everyone else is doing. You're doing what people have heard 100 times before. The only way you're going to win is by standing out, by giving value that is authentic to you, and by sharing experiences that are authentic to you. That's how you grow a personal brand. It's all centered around your authentic self and your personal experiences, beliefs, value, systems, like everything that you've learned. So now let's get into what to actually post on LinkedIn. So number 1 is actionable insights. So we want things that we can take action on in the next 24 hours, ideally, that your ICP can ideally see results as soon as possible, because this is the highest leverage form of value. Because what happens is your ICP, for example, right, with what I told you before, use your personal profile. If you start using your personal profile to post, if you follow everything in this video, if you update your profile, clean it up, post good content, you're going to see results very fast. And even though it is a long-term game at the same time, you will also see short-term results as well. And if you see those results, you're going to think, wait, this guy knows what he's talking about. Not only have I done what he's told me to do, but I've actually seen results and he wasn't lying about it, right? And what this means is you're then going to trust me a whole lot more. Number 2 is original frameworks and breakdowns. What this means is like building your own frameworks. Like, for example, I have my own CAV framework for LinkedIn content and how to know if a post is good. It's consumable, it's actionable, it's valuable. I could get a lot deeper into it, but essentially you have these branded frameworks, which is going to tie people back to your brand, and it builds kind of this more authentic feel to the value and makes it stand out more. You're essentially able to package what you've learned or what you've built or what you've, kind of developed over time into an easy system where people, every time they're writing a LinkedIn post, then they're going to think in their head, CAV framework, they're going to be thinking about me. My brand is still at the top of their mind. Now, number 3 is going to be relevant lessons and experiences. Now, this is kind of the inverse of the random life updates. And this is what I mean is like, if you go to a conference, right? If you go to an Alex Hormozi workshop and he's giving you some genuine advice and you've asked him some questions, of course, post that. If you've just gone to some completely random event that's irrelevant to business, then it just doesn't make sense to post that, right? So you need to make sure that you're carefully curating these, that they are relevant to your ICP. They're still somewhat in line with your goals of actually getting leads from LinkedIn. Now, number 4 is high quality lead magnets. Now, this is essentially where we're not only going to boost engagement massively, but we're also going to be able to provide a whole lot more value. You can only provide so much value in a LinkedIn post. Like, you can't make it that big because otherwise people just get bored, they scroll away. But if we make a lead magnet where they know that they're expecting a large document, we make it seem as valuable as possible, we build FOMO and tell them, hey, look, like, I should be charging for this, or I've charged someone thousands of dollars for this. You can get it for free. All you have to do is comment, and then, you can just send them the resource, or you can get them to email opt-in, whatever you want. But essentially, it's going to allow you to deliver these very high value, long form pieces of information, which is going to build tons of trust with your audience. Now, number 5 of what to post is case studies with results. This is essentially just social proof that shows that you know what you're doing. You've actually done it before. And it's going to be mainly for the people at the bottom of the funnel where they're kind of ready to buy, they're kind of on the fence, and you just need to push them over the edge and make them realize that you can do it for them and kind of give them a bit of fear of missing out. Like, hey, every day that you don't do this, you're losing out on this. Every month that you don't post on LinkedIn, you're losing out on a potential extra $50,000 a month. Like, stuff like that, along with case studies, along with results, is really going to build this FOMO, and it's going to make them take action to not only book a call with you, but then end up buying your service. Now, phase 3 is the winning formats. So they are constantly changing, but right now, this is what I see working. There's 3 main formats. Number 1 is a long form text post. Now, generally, long form text posts just do well. It's just like, the average LinkedIn post. And I would say, like, if you can include a relevant image, do it. But what I don't mean by these images is that I don't want like selfies. I don't want like mirror pictures. Like, this stuff is just irrelevant. But I mean, if you have a picture of some sort of relevant graphic, if you have a screenshot of results which accompanies the hook, that's super good. Stuff like that's really good. We don't want stuff that's, again, just irrelevant. It's just going to confuse the audience, and it's going to make you seem like less of an authority as well. Number 2 is the short form text plus carousel. Now, to be honest with you, this is pretty simple, but essentially it's just like a quick caption showing or previewing, hey, this is what's going to be in the carousel, this is how I did this. And then you essentially point down to the carousel, just saying, learn about how I did it, some sort of call to action, essentially pushing to the carousel. Number 3 would be a long form text post where we not only have a post giving value, maybe like a summary, and then we have the long form video going fully in detail. And you can, again, have a call to action at the end of the post saying, hey, by the way, I break down the full method in the video attached below. And this tends to not get as much engagement as the other methods, but to be honest with you, it tends to build the most trust and get the most conversions. Just because it's one of those formats where people can see your face, they can hear your voice. Like a video like this could be posted to LinkedIn, and it would build quite a lot of trust with my audience. Now, phase 4 is conversion content. This is very, very important. So the first thing we're going to have to do with our audience is shift beliefs. And now this is going to go for all of the posts. Everything I'm going to go over in this conversion content phase is basically overall all of the posts, what you need to be thinking about doing with each post that you create. So number 1 is shift beliefs. If I'm selling something that solves X pain point, then I need to make sure the prospects actually believe they have X pain point. Because if they do not have that pain point, or if they don't think they have that pain point, or if they don't know they have that pain point, I cannot solve it, right? So we need to essentially make them aware of the pain point. And if they don't have the pain point, for example, right, in my case, I'm helping people generate revenue and get more leads. So if somebody is comfortable with where they are, they're getting enough leads, instead of focusing on the pain point, we need to focus on the dream outcome and kind of like the greediness and them wanting more leads. Being like, hey, with a few easy extra steps, you can get this many more leads. Imagine how much more money you'd make, and kind of really paint this picture of the dream scenario in their head. Number 2 is we want to educate them towards the offer. So essentially want to educate them about like why your mechanism works, why your mechanism is viable right now. So in my case, my mechanism is LinkedIn inbound funnels. What that means is I kind of want to go over why LinkedIn is important as a whole, not necessarily just my service, but why LinkedIn as a whole is important. And this is slowly going to educate them towards my offer. And this is also ties into shifting beliefs, because then they're going to be like, okay, wait, LinkedIn's important. It can work for me. I need to do this. And now I'm going to book a call with you, and now I'm going to buy your service. The next thing is to show proof publicly. What this means is whether it's a direct case study where we're talking about the exact transformation, the exact situation before and after working with us, or it's a post where it's just general value, we always want to mention our social proof, and we always want to subtly build this authority in their head that we know what we're doing and we are the best at what we do. So for example, if I'm giving a value post, I might mention at the end, I might say, P.S, this is literally the exact system that we use to take our client from this number of monthly recurring revenue to this number of monthly recurring revenue, right? Stuff like that, where it's going to subtly mention, hey, look, we've done this before. We know what we're talking about, but you're not going out there, you're not flexing, you're not bragging about it, and you're not being salesy. You're just kind of slowly injecting it into your prospect's mind. So speaking of injection, the next thing is offer awareness. So this is just where we subtly mention what we do for people and the service we provide. So for example, writing LinkedIn posts. Whilst I was writing a LinkedIn post, I realized this. Or when I was creating the LinkedIn content strategy for this client, he asked me this question, and then, this is what I told him. So stuff like that, where we can subtly mention about what we actually do for people, because now they already know the results that we deliver. We just need to make sure that they're aware that we actually have this as an offering. The next thing is narrative frame. Narrative framing is essentially like if I have a case study and I turn it into a story where it's a full transformation, like, oh, before this guy had a dead LinkedIn account, he was getting 1 to 2 likes a post, struggling with leads, really get deep into the emotions and how they were feeling and the results. And then you kind of build this whole transformation where then after working with you, this is what you did. And now, now he's at his dream scenario with all of these metrics, and it's just way better overall, right? And this is really going to help the people reading. They're going to see themselves in the post, and they're going to be like, wait, this is how I'm feeling right now. Why don't I just work with these guys and then I'm good, right? And then the final thing is add micro invitations. I don't call it call to actions. I call it invitations, because we want to have these really soft call to actions where it's like, by the way, DM me if you're interested in similar results. Or, by the way, if you want to learn more about the system we used, just shoot me a DM and let me know. Something like that is just going to allow you to convert without being salesy. Now, the next steps. So you know the proven system. All that's left is simply to execute. You literally have two options. Number one, put all the time, money, and effort in and do it yourself. Or number two, just work with us, right? If you do want to work with us, there's a link in the description. If you want to do it yourself, by all means, go for it, test it out, and just DM if you have any questions on LinkedIn or Twitter about my service or about how the system works.